Another amazing trading week this week. Here are a few trades from the daily market breakdown videos that I released throughout the week. Let's begin with the US dollar index. The past week, the banks got rid of 2,370 longs and they got rid of a whopping 3 short positions. Now, as we look at this weekly chart here, you can clearly see the momentum we have had on the DXY. We reacted off this weekly demand once, twice, for the third time pretty much, and we are moving up. Now, it's not clear to me that we are going to roll over just yet. We're going to look at the lower time frames here in a minute and see what's taking place on those. But as far as the weekly chart goes, we are going to have some sort of selling come into effect here. It's obviously possible we do rally just right out of it like that. Not in 1 week, but I'm just saying more long term. So remember, we do have some sort of selling coming into contact right now. So let's go down to the lower time frames and take a look. I know the daily chart is not a lower time frame, but something significant has happened here. We removed not only a downward trend line, 1 supply zone and 2 supply zones. Now, price is very, very overextended, but remember guys, that does not mean we are due for a pullback. It means a pullback is, I would say, likely, but it's not 100% obviously. And another thing we noticed too is that we are actually coming in contact with another trend line here. We had that beautiful looking trend line here where we had the valley, the peak, and the other valley. And now we are coming in contact with that daily trend line again. And this could be a time where maybe we spike through the trend line. We see some sort of liquidity grab or something like that is definitely possible here on the DXY. And there's really just no evidence that price is going to be pushing down. This is actually a 1 hour zone that I was pointing out to the members in the Discord group. I was telling them, watch out for this demand zone here in the 1 hour chart. We need to see this demand zone removed to indicate that, hey, maybe that daily supply was going to hold and we're going to push down. And obviously we reacted beautifully off the zone once, twice, 3 times, and we continue to rally out. So we have a 1 hour uptrend still on the US dollar, and even on the 4 hour chart, very, very clean looking 1 hour chart, 1 hour uptrend, sorry, demand zones being respected. So in my opinion, as long as we have a 4 hour, 1 hour uptrend, day trading longs on the DXY, or sorry, day trading longs on any US dollar pairs are fine in my opinion, because we have a 4 hour and a 1 hour uptrend. Now, if we can get a daily uptrend like this, then at that point I would say swing trading longs on the US dollar are pretty high odds in my opinion. Now, I have bought, I'll do a trade review later on the USDN, but I still am taking swing trading longs on the US dollar, but you have to be very, very cautious doing that because we don't have a daily trend yet. But honestly, with the strength of the 4 hour and the 1 hour trends, I think it's possible the trends still continue, but it's also possible that we do something like this in the daily chart to create that daily uptrend, because who knows, we could be headed to 110. It's difficult to tell where exactly price is going to go, but like I said, with the trends on the 4 hour and the 1 hour chart, day trading longs are fine, and for swing trading, we just need to wait. Forecast for the Euro USD. The past week, the banks added 4,418 longs and they got rid of 5,634 shorts. Onto the daily chart here, you can see we had the upward trend line here. It was definitely more of an aggressive looking trend line, but it was, and we had a hard time around this trend line, but eventually we did break down, and now we are into this daily demand. Now, in reverse, the DXY supply that we had was removed, so it's definitely a tricky situation here on the euro, but with this daily demand and control, we could be looking for longs. Now, since it's under the trend line, it makes it a little lower odds in my opinion, but we could still be looking for those confirmation long trades as we, come off of this daily demand. So for swing trading longs, we could be looking for longs, but we need confirmation by removing opposing supply zones. I will show you what that's going to look like here. So if we look at the 1 hour chart, you can see we have a very, very consistent and clean downtrend. We actually have supply zones being respected here to the move to the way down. So I'll be very, very clear. For longs, we need to see this happen, where we remove this downward trend line, some sort of selling here as well. And if we are left with 1 hour demand here, that would be your trade like that as we come off of that daily demand zone. So this is exactly what I'd be looking for here on the Euro US dollar. Really nothing else, because I don't feel comfortable getting in long when we have such a strong and consistent 1 hour downtrend like that. That's why we need to see the confirmation. So for now, I'm really not seeing any zones, especially since supply zones like this one are being respected. And this is actually a trade that I pointed out for the members in the daily market breakdown video. And so if you want access to zones like this one that I pointed out to the members, you can join the Diamond membership. Links are in the description down below. We'd be happy to see you guys join the team and get my zones every single day. On to the forecast for gold, XAUUSD. The past week, the banks added 4,232 longs, and they also added 26,081 shorts. Now, very, very significant thing has happened. We had a lot of consolidation here on gold. We had this low, and we actually peaked below it, which has given us a very, very clean-looking daily downtrend right now. Now, you might be thinking, wow, daily downtrend, we need to be hopping on short. You know, Kevin always says we got to be trading with the trend, and I definitely agree to an extent, but if you look right here at 1870, I think we will start to have a hiccup here. So I'll be very, very clear. On day trading time frames, I think shorting could be fine down to like 1880, 1870, maybe 1860. I think that would be okay, but it's definitely tricky right now. And like I said, yes, the daily downtrend is in play. You might be thinking shorts all the way, but remember, if you guys have been following my forecast for a while now, I've been talking about this weekly demand at 1870 for a while now. So that's why I'm saying shorts could be short-lived because we could react off this weekly demand to the upside. Now, it's definitely possible we just blow right through. I'll definitely admit that. It's definitely possible, especially with things that have been going on in the world lately on gold. But as far as I can see, momentum is up, pulling back into weekly demand. We need to be looking for longs in this area. So for gold, me personally, for swing trading longs, I'm waiting for this demand to be hit at 1870 on the weekly chart. But as far as day trading goes, to the downside, we could still be looking for shorts. Unfortunately, I don't really have any zones to point out for you guys because we already had nice reaction off of this supply zone right here, and even on the 1 hour chart here, we had a pretty nice reaction off of this 1 hour supply. So in the meantime, there are no trades that I see on gold right now. What I would be looking for is another, maybe another leg down. If we have, new supply zones here, we could basically treat this supply zone just like this one up here where we could potentially look for shorts. So unfortunately, at the time of recording this video, I don't have any zones to show you on gold, but like I said, day trading shorts are definitely on the table right now, down to like the 1880, 1870 area on gold. And remember, that's why I have the daily market breakdown videos throughout the week, so you can get my zones as we push down, because just the reality of the markets, guys. I record these videos every Friday. I'm not going to have every zone like this one or this one for you guys at the time of making the video. Looking at the USDJPY forecast, the past week the banks added 9,435 longs and they added 11,654 shorts. Now, I've been talking about USD yen for quite a while now. I said we had profit margin up to weekly supply at about 147. And if you look, we are reacting just absolutely perfect off the supply. I took profits on my long trade pretty much right before the supply zone, and I'm happy I did because price went right back to my entry. I will show you guys that trade in a second here, but at the end of the day, yes, the trends are up on the USD yen, but we need to be trading with caution as that weekly supply has come into control here on the USD yen. So as far as my trade goes, what trade did I take? Well, right away I noticed price broke above this high here on the daily chart. I noticed we had profit margin to the weekly supply zone. It's not that high up, but we have profit margin to the weekly supply zone with the daily uptrend. So I was simply looking for longs. And what I did here is I entered on this 1 hour chart. So if you can see here, we had a pretty clean 1 hour zone right here, 1 hour rally base, rally demand zone. And I simply bought the pullback, basically zero drawdown. I actually made 6-1 on this trade. So it was absolutely an incredible trade here on the USD yen. If you guys want to learn how to take trades just like this one here that I took on the USD Japanese yen, check out the video lessons as well in the Diamond membership. So as far as the yen goes now, how do we actually go ahead and trade this one now? Well, if you look, the demand that I bought is tested, basically pierced right through. So it's definitely very difficult to be trading. Now I'm going to show you guys some very, very aggressive entries here. If you look on the 1 hour chart, we have 1 hour supply that's located right about at 146.129 right here. Now this is an aggressive entry, so confirmation could be necessary. Remember, I have confirmation videos in the video lessons as well. But if price does push up to here on the 1 hour chart, I know that's a pretty big move up to the supply at 146.129. This could be an area where you go to a lower time frame on a 5-minute and 1-minute chart and you look for those day trading shorts like that to kind of refine your entry inside of this 1 hour supply zone. You might be asking, well, why this supply zone? Well, this is just the supply zone that I find to be the best based on my chain analysis. We're not going to get into that, but in my opinion, this is the highest quality 1 hour supply zone. But you might be asking, well, why are we going to be shorting the USD with the trends being up? Well, I'm not saying we should be shorting, but clearly with the weekly supply and control, we have lost momentum here on the 4-hour chart and on the 1-hour chart. So with that weekly supply being in control, shorts are on the table right now. It is still aggressive because the daily trend is up and the overall momentum is up, so it is aggressive, but it's definitely okay. That's why I'm suggesting to look for that extra confirmation, like I said, on the lower time frame charts. So what you could be doing is using this 1-hour chart as your higher time frame and then getting a potential day trading short off of that. Yes, in theory, you could just place a short sell with a stop loss and a take profit here, something like that. You could do that, but that is very, very aggressive and very, very risky. Because yes, the daily trend is up on the USD yen here, but how does a daily trend break? It breaks by lower time frames like this 1-hour chart turning around like this and creating supply zones. That is how a daily uptrend begins to break. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be officially broken. That's why if price does push up to here, this will be the test. So we're either going to react off of it, or we're going to continue to push up and negate this supply, and at that point we could say, hey, I think longs are actually on the table. So what I'm trying to say is, in order to continue to look for longs here on the yen, just like this trend trade I took down here, we need to see the continuation of the 1-hour trend. But like I said, in the meantime, this 1-hour supply zone could be used for your potential day trading shorts. GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks added 7,302 longs, and they also added 3,334 shorts. Now, remember last week I talked about how obviously on the weekly chart here, we're either going to go up or we're going to go down. That's fine. That's nothing crazy. Anybody can say that. I know I'm not special for saying that, but what I'm trying to give you guys the idea of is on the weekly chart, our longer term perspective should either be to 1.297 to weekly supply again, or back down to demand at 1.25. So that is what I'm waiting for on the pound. I'm either waiting for these zones to be hit to potentially look for longs. Not 100%. I will be looking for other trades as well. But for the highest odd situation, we need to figure out, first we need to figure out, is it going to go up or is it going to go down? And how do we do that? Well, we got to look at the lower time frames. If we look at a daily chart, to me, it's looking weak. I mean, we had a daily uptrend. At this point right here, we could say, hey, I think we're going to continue to go up. We were wrong. We actually broke below the trend line. So now we're kind of just going sideways. Where's price going to be headed? Well, let's go down to the lower time frames and see what's taking place. Nothing really on the 1-hour chart, but if you look at the 4-hour chart, you can see this indecision right now. Now, we actually had some sort of demand right here, and we are currently reacting off that demand. So this demand could be used to push price even higher. Now, to me, we are not out of the woods. If you look, we clearly have selling stepping in control here. Very much so. This supply zone as well that I pointed out a couple weeks ago to the members as well. But clearly, supply is in control here on the lower time frame. So I don't really think trading the pound right now is the best idea. What I'd be waiting for longs is to see these supply zones removed. We could just see one remove, this one, but we still want to see this one removed as well. That would be the safest bet. So if we can get something like this, leaving us with 4-hour demand, that would be your 4-hour demand zone where you could look for longs. Or you could look for day trading longs in there as well using a confirmation style entry. So that is the GBPUSD. Definitely tricky right now as we're kind of just basing out, and it's indecision. I personally don't like to trade when we have indecision like this in sideways markets. I find it very, very low odds, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, we got a trade right here and a trade here just for the sake of the video. I know a lot of guys do that here on YouTube, and I'm just not going to do that because I respect my audience too much. So that's why I'm saying we need to wait for this range to break out. And look, even if we break to the downside and we have a 4-hour downtrend continuing here like that, and we have 4-hour supply, you could trade that supply short using it as your higher time frame. But all I'm saying is on this 4-hour chart, we need to see some sort of trend being formed before we make any trading decisions. Yes, on the 1-hour chart, we did kind of break that momentum as well, but in my opinion, there's just no clear direction right now in the pound, so we need to wait. On to the USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks added 18,419 longs, and they also added 7,631 shorts. Very, very simple here on the USDCAD. A lot of momentum to the upside, but we have a daily supply zone that is officially becoming control at 1.35. Now, I kind of think we will see a move off of it. Will we see a move like this? I don't know. That is basically impossible to tell. It's definitely possible, but in the meantime, I think prepare to see a smaller, at least a medium move down here in the USDCAD. I mean, we do have some sort of supply in the weekly chart even coming into control as well, but we do have a supply zone that is coming into control. But if you look on the 1-hour chart, have we seen any evidence that price is going lower? I haven't. I have not seen any evidence of that. So just like a lot of the other charts have showed, where on the 1 hour chart we had price action like this, where we had our supply zones that I've been pointing out, where we said, hey, we could look for shorts in here. This is exactly what we need to see play out on USDCAD if we want to take shorts at that daily supply zone. I know a lot of people that want to just be shorting, every zone as we come into supply, but look, if we don't have this upward trend line removed, then there's no change of trend. So we need to see that removed before we just get in short. So that would be your potential trade right there on the 1 hour chart. That's what I'd be looking for. Now, that is for the swing trading longs. For swing trading shorts. But in the meantime, we have, like I said, this 1 hour uptrend. So what that means is even though the daily supply is in control, getting in long is definitely risky right now, but you could still be looking for day trading longs. But with the daily supply in control, I actually suggest maybe lowering your risk. But look, when we have such strong trends like this, we're going to continue to see moves. The daily supply could definitely affect it and just push price down. That's why we have our stop losses in play. That's why we acknowledge when supply is in control and say, hey, we need to lower our risk here and change based on the scenario. Yes, I still want to trade with this upward trend, but with the supply and control, I think we need to lower our risk. In my opinion, that's the best thing to be doing in here because, yeah, you don't want to miss out on these trending trades because, look, for the supply on the daily chart to be removed, the 1 hour trend and the 4 hour trend have to stay trending. So it could be, you could kind of play the guessing game. You could say, for example, you could be day trading long. If you just go back to the daily chart here, let's say price was down here. We still had profit margin to supply. You could be using full risk in your trading setup, and I would have agreed with that 100% as we push up to supply. But just like we could push down, we could off the supply, we could easily just as push through. So with the trends being in play, we could still look for longs. But like I said, with the supply and control, definitely lower your risk. AUDUSD forecast, the Aussie dollar. The past week, the banks added 7,532 longs, and they also added 17,737 shorts. Now, very, very strong downtrends here on the 1 hour chart. We had supply zones being respected on the way down. There's another trade I pointed out in the daily market breakdown video. But honestly, this 1 hour trend could be coming to an end. If you already look, we have, kind of broken over above the downward trend line, kind of going sideways here, but at the end of the day, we still have supply zones being respected here on the Aussie US dollar. So where's this one going? It's very, very difficult. With the trends in play, we could still look for those day trading shorts, but if we look at a weekly chart here, we still have this weekly demand in control. Now, the weekly demand itself looks good. This is inside of a monthly demand. The monthly demand, I'm not going to go to the monthly chart, but it definitely does not look great. It's a very, very small move away on the monthly chart. So I think we could actually blow right through. Sorry, I shouldn't say blow right through. I think we could break down below. But I don't think it's just going to be straight down. I think that we will see some indecision in here like this. So yes, there could be some day trading longs that we could get coming off of this weekly area of demand. Now remember, daily downtrend as well. So it's definitely very, very risky right now. If you do pull up to this 4 hour supply zone at 0.656, we could see a move off that supply zone. It is above the trend line, so definitely trade with caution. But we could be using confirmation on day trading timeframes to look for shorts coming off of that 4 hour supply zone. I know it's a bit of a pullback, but that would be preferred as we have, very, very clean downtrends. We kind of want to wait for those bigger pullbacks, something like that. So that's what I would be waiting for here on the Aussie US dollar. And remember, like I said, with this demand and control in the weekly chart, we could look for long. So on the 1 hour chart, if we do remove the demand, if we do remove the supply and we're left with 1 hour demand, you could look for some aggressive long entries on day trading timeframes instead of that 1 hour demand zone. Remember, 4 hour downtrend in play, daily downtrend is definitely very, very risky right now to be trading the Aussie in general, in my opinion, because yes, we do have higher timeframe demand and control, but with the trends being so strong and the demand being so not great and already tested, it's very, very tricky. So that's why no matter what zone you're going to look for trades inside of, we need to look for confirmation on those day trading timeframes. On to the USDCHF. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,261 longs, and they also added 184 shorts. I will keep it very, very simple here on the weekly chart on the USD Swiss. Clean weekly supply and a weekly downtrend. We want to be looking for shorts to continue to trade with this downward trend. Now, you might be saying, well, the supply zone's not in control yet. What do we do? Well, we still have profit margin to the upside. Yes, we are getting close to it, so it's lower odds than trading down here. But with profit margin on this weekly chart, I think we could still look for longs here on the USD Swiss. So how do we go and do that? Well, first, I just want to point out that we already had a long trade off of this 1 hour zone right here. Boom, what a 5-to-1 trade, no problem. Pointing this one out again in the daily market breakdown videos throughout the week. But anyways, as far as trading it goes now, we have supply in control. This is another zone that I was telling members to be cautious about because obviously we reacted off of it. So when we get in long down here, we don't want to also be getting in long at supply. So we need to see this removed. That's why price pushed down, because the supply was in control. Now, in my opinion, the momentum is looking very, very strong. I think we are going to break above, but I want that to be proven to me first. So I'll be very, very clear with the profit margin to the weekly supply. Want to be looking for longs? In my opinion, we just need to wait for quality 1 hour zones. I'm not seeing anything quality in here, so I would ignore all that. But hopefully we can get maybe some sort of basing, a nice clean 1 hour zone, and we can get a potential trade off of the zone like that. But remember, I will have these zones throughout the week for you guys if you are a member. So unfortunately, no zones for me to point out right now. Just kind of giving you the overall plan here. Longs already taken down there. Now we just need to wait for that supply to be removed in the 1 hour chart to continue to look for longs. But remember, definitely look to take profits when we approach like the 0.89 area, or at least be aggressive with your stop loss and continue to bump it up, because at this point when we hit this weekly supply, I will then switch to I will personally be switching to swing trading shorts. On to crude oil. We have the banks that got rid of 7,819 longs and they added 6,001 shorts. I'll try to keep it very, very simple here on oil. We have profit margins still to the weekly supply at $87.25 a barrel. Now, it doesn't mean we're just going to go right up to there. I think we are kind of pulling back to potentially fuel for the bigger move. So how do we go about and trade oil right now? Well, my profit target on shorts, I personally don't day trade, but if you want to day trade short, we could see price potentially go all the way down to $76.30. This is the zone I'll be personally looking for longs in, using my confirmation entry approach. Now, how do we go about and trade oil now? Well, on the 4 hour chart, I'll try to keep it simple as well. We have demand zones being respected right now. We have these 2 4 hour supply zones here that we could be looking for shorts in. So I'll be very, very clear again. If price hits 4 hour supply at 82.312, we could look for 50-minute day trading short confirmation trades off that supply zone. If we break that supply, which is definitely possible, we have more supply at 84.33, and we could look for shorts off of that supply zone. Now, if we push down and break this demand and we have new 4 hour supply, that will be your potential supply zone as well, just like these two are. So really, we have 1, 2, and 3 scenarios. 1, 2, and potentially 3 right here if that's what we get. Now, it's also possible this is the bottom in oil and we're just going to push up, blow through all these zones, and at that point, once the zone is removed, that means we'll have a 4 hour uptrend and we can continue to look for longs again. So that's what I'm looking for here on oil. Still a lot of profit margin to the downside and to the upside, so we just kind of need to look for confirmation in all aspects here until we can at least get the continuation of this 4 hour uptrend. I hope you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want to get my daily chart analysis and much, much more.